to see you guys.
How's it, Sid? How's it, UV? All good, guys.
Okay, guys, let's start quickly with SA and India. India winning the series 3-1. Starting with you, UV. What was it as you expected, or were you expecting it to be a lot more closer?
If I can sum it up very briefly, India put a team on the park that I thought was substandard. South Africa put on a worse team, and they got a hiding from a really bad team. So, yeah.
Do you concur with that, Avish?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, both teams were experimental. But obviously, I agree with UV. I think SA's team was, I mean, you don't want to see this team on the park anytime soon, especially what happened at the Wanderers a few days ago. You don't want to see that kind of bowling display. I mean, I'd say devoid of ideas, absolutely no control whatsoever. The ball was flying all over, and some of it were actually, going out of the park. In fact, most of them went out of the park. So yeah, I think in a way it was an experimental exercise. Let's be honest, it was an experimental exercise. It was a bit of a practice series, but we were talking off. I think there were a few players that really should be a bit unlucky not to play in the series, and one of them is Brevis. One of them is Brevis. I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the players that SA picked in the series, okay, they've been a bit short of cricket. I mean, the likes of Hendricks, the likes of, okay, Riza has been there. But I just feel that age is catching up with him now. And I think he's past his best from what we've seen in the series so far. Klaasen and Miller, I mean, to be honest with you, I understand why they gave them an opportunity. They wanted to give them some match practice, but these guys are seasoned campaigners. I mean, they can always come into the game, and I don't think they need a lot of practice because they play so much of franchise cricket, Sid. I feel it was important for the public to actually have a look at Brevis this time around. I know he played in that Australia series, but I don't think we've seen enough of him. I think this was an opportunity for him to come and do this series. And I mean, if Rob was saying after the series that the results were not really important, I don't see the reason why you don't play a guy like Brevis because, I mean, SA were on a hiding to nothing yesterday. And all they needed was someone to just go and play their natural game. Sorry, I mean on Friday. I mean, if you look at the way Samson and Tilak played, they just played their natural game. See ball, hit ball. They were fearless. And I think SA could have learned a thing or two in regards to how to approach the game. So I just feel Brevis has been really unlucky. However, I do hope he does get an opportunity come the next white ball series against Pakistan. You've got 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. I think it's time to blood some youngsters come this next or white ball series because at the moment, let's be honest, guys, Test cricket is the main priority for the next, I'd say, 3 months.
Okay, UV. For this ODI series that happened between West Indies and England, which West Indies won 2-1 for the ODI, and then for the T20s, they are so far leading the T20 series 3-1. It was nice to see West Indies win the 4th one yesterday. That was a real mouth-watering performance by them. But do you think West Indies are going to win today's one to make it 3-2 to England?
Well, in all honesty, I look at the West Indies. They've got the talent. They could beat anyone today. Consistent. It's that simple. Can they win today's one? No doubt. Will they? Yeah, the book coin.
Okay, Avish, do you concur with that?
Yeah, I mean, UV took the words out of my mouth. That's the word I actually wanted to bring up: inconsistency. They got all the talent. Let's be honest, especially in this T20 format, they got all the talent. And we saw it in the World Cup as well. A bit erratic at times, in the World Cup. I mean, smashing the USA and then losing heavily to England, and then obviously that humdinger of a game against SA, which was like potentially a quarterfinal. So yes, they have all the talent, but they are inconsistent, and I think England exposed the inconsistencies in the series. That was a great performance last night, no doubt about it. But I think a bit too late, too little, too late, because the series is already lost. I think if they could have provided that kind of performance in the second or third game, this would have been a really good finale to the series. But I feel like this next game is a bit of an anti-climax, in my opinion, Sid.
Yeah.
Because England have already won the series. How serious are they going to take the game? But I know every time you go out to play for your country, you got to take it seriously. But you can almost feel like they're taking the foot off the accelerator. But I could see the Windies winning this one. Yeah, but I think they've been exposed a bit in the series, especially in the first 3 games.
Actually, but if you look at that third game, it could have gone either way. And I think had West Indies won that third game, it would have been definitely a beautiful match today for the decider. But anyway, it is what it is. So we'll get to... Sorry?
Could I ask one question?
Sure.
What do you think West Indies lacked in this series from a bowling perspective?
Oh, you meaning for the T20 series? I'm trying to figure that out. I thought England played very well for the first 2. I think maybe they probably was tired because they have played a lot of cricket. Maybe it probably could have been that.
They've lacked one specific thing for a while. They have it in abundance in their local setup, but they don't play them.
Interesting. So what are you trying to say?
Fast bowlers. Not fast medium bowlers, not guys that bowl in the 140s. Guys that bowl in the high 140s, over 150. Fast bowlers. They have 3 of them, but they don't play.
Which ones?
There's a bunch of them. Off the top of my head, I'd say a little bit of experience. Rian King. There's what's that guy that played for Gujarat Titans?
Shamar Joseph.
Shamar Joseph. And there's someone else. There's 3 of them that can easily top 150. Yeah.
Okay. Unless maybe one of them is injured. Oh yeah, but I know what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a learning. Pardon?
I have a theory as well. I think what let them down in the series has been their dead bowling. I think the Windies' dead bowling has been atrocious, especially their last 5 overs in this series. They went for plenty, Sid. So yeah, no, I agree with Yuvi. They could have tried something new. I honestly think Shamar Joseph is the Windies' best bowler in all formats, be it Test, T20s. I like this guy. I like this kid. Ever since I saw him bowl against Australia at the Gabba and win that Test match so amazingly.
The guy I'm talking about is not Shamar Joseph. It's Alzari Joseph.
Alzari Joseph.
Yeah, he's also really good. Yeah, West Indies do have talent. They just couldn't know how to use them. But okay, Avish, I wanted to. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Okay, now Avish, I wanted to move to this one here, the New Zealand tour to Sri Lanka. Okay, the T20 series was tied, which Sri Lanka should have won that 2-0. And then we've got Sri Lanka winning the first ODI, and then we're on the second ODI, which is kind of delightfully in rain. So do you think this match is going to be completed today, Avish, the second ODI?
I see they did come back now. I see it's live now, so there was a bit of a rain delay.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I honestly think a reduced game might suit New Zealand in this way, Sid, because I think if it was 50 overs, it probably would be tough for New Zealand. But I think a reduced game would definitely help New Zealand in a way. So, yeah, I don't know how many overs have been lost here, but I think if the Kiwis can put up Kiwis can put up a score of around 240, 250, I think they're in the game, They're in the game. It's not going to be easy chasing, and we did see it in the last game as well. But looking at the series so far, two good sides. Two really, very really balanced teams that do the basics quite well, especially the Black Caps. So I wasn't surprised by the T20 series ending 1-1. Although, for Sri Lanka to lose a game with needing 109, you could see it as a bit of a, I don't want to use that word, the C word, but bit of a choke. Yeah. bit of a choke. But I mean, Lockie Ferguson, he did take a hat trick there, and we've seen him. He is a match winner. He can turn games around. So I think that's what we saw in that second game. But they'd be kicking themselves. They'd really be kicking themselves why they ended up losing that game. But it's looking good for Sri Lanka in this ODI series. But I mean, we know the Kiwis. The Kiwis are going to fight right till the end because that's how they play.
Do you concur with that, Yuvi?
As things stand, yeah, definitely. Gonna play devil's advocate. Oh, one question though. Is Matthew Henry playing for New Zealand?
Matthew Henry. Let's look at the scorecard here. Let's look at this. I don't know if he's also one of those players like Trent Bolt or who have actually not taken those central contracts. I wonder if he's in the squad here. Let me just check here something here. Henry Nichols. Oh, Matthew Henry. He's a fast bowler, right?
Yep, he's one of the two in that team that can top 150.
Oh, okay. I don't see him in the squad here. I don't see him in I don't see him playing.
So first off, let me say, New Zealand as well are stuffing up by not playing two guys that have got serious penetration. There lies one of your problems. New Zealand are becoming the new India from my perspective. Basically ready for spinners, spinners that can bat well, hold up the back end of innings, and they don't want to play their fast bowlers.
Interesting. Okay, let's get to the most exciting bit, which is the much-awaited Test series, which will be coming this Friday, on the 22nd of November. I'll start with you, Yuvi, as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think India can make a fist out of this Test series after losing 3-0 at home to New Zealand? What's your thoughts?
Should I laugh now or later?
Pardon?
Should I laugh now or later?
Sorry, I can't hear you there. Can't hear you there, Yuvi.
I said, should I laugh now or later?
You can laugh now.
Okay. The side they take it to Australia is going to catch a hiding like you cannot believe. I'm an Indian cricket fan, but I don't like what the selectors are doing at the moment. They are on a hiding for nothing on this tour. To me, you don't have the pace. You don't have the guys that can create bounce. You don't have that intimidation factor. The Australians are going to walk all over you. You have one guy. You have a few guys that can bat, yes. So they may put on some decent scores, but their bowling attack's not going to hold up in those conditions. I'm sorry.
So what's your scoreline?
How many matches are there?
5.
4-1, maybe 3-1 if one gets rained out.
Avish, do you concur with? Oh, okay. Avish, do you concur with that?
Yeah, I mean, given what we've seen last month in that Test series with New Zealand, if I was an Indian fan, I'd be really worried going to Australian shores, especially in the kind of I'd say. I mean, I'm not sure how India is, mentally at the moment after being, whitewashed by New Zealand. Nobody saw that coming. I think they're still a bit shell-shocked and they need to really step it up in the series. However, a series to Australia, it doesn't get any tougher than this, Sid. And I agree with Yuvi. I think there's going to be a lot of responsibility on a guy like Bumrah, because to me, he's the one world-class bowler in that attack. Question is, who's going to partner him? Who's going to be supporting him there? I think Mohammad Shami is a massive loss for India in the series, because if Shami has had a great tour of Australia in the last two, especially in that first Test as well. He bowled really well, but I know in 2018, 2019, he was absolutely superb in Australia. So he's a big loss. Yeah, there's a few players that India have selected. I'm not sure. It's quite a few rookies, eh? You've got Harshit Rana from KKR. I'm not sure what you're trying to pick this guy. Are you picking him on his IPL form or his domestic form? Prasidh Krishna.
Oh, yeah.
Little bit of a puzzling selection for me. Umesh Yadav. I was a big fan of him. I think they could have taken him to Australia because I think he has that base. that can trouble the Aussie batsman.
But isn't he injury prone though, Umesh Yadav?
Probably, but I mean, every bowler is injury prone. So sometimes you've got to take that chance.
At the moment, he's fit. So
okay,
he's fit.
You've got to take that chance sometimes. So I mean, if you're gonna tell me that a bowler is injury prone, then I mean that goes for every single bowler. Every single bowler has the possibility of breaking down. That's just how the game is. Look, right. I think this is a big tour for Siraj as well. Siraj has got to step up, but there's a few guys in the Indian batting lineup who are short of runs, eh? I mean, Rohit, I know he's missing the first test, so there's a bit of a dilemma there as to who's going to open with Jaiswal. So I got a feeling. I got a feeling it could be Gill because I mean he has opened before. My question is who?
Sure, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I have a question, man. Who comes in for Rohit now? Since that he's going to be out for the first test, maybe the second test, which is a big blow.
Maybe KL Rahul.
Possibly, eh?
Yeah. Most likely Rahul. But if they're smart, tell me, is Gaikwad on tour?
Gaikwad. Okay, can you all see the list of the players here? Okay, fine. I'll just say the name that I see. Okay, Rohit Sharma is still in that squad. I was actually reading online that it's not definite that he won't be the first. He's just in doubt. Even Shubman Gill is in doubt from what I read because he injured his thumb during that intra-practice game they do between themselves. So that's going to be a bit interesting. So you might have a couple of replacements happening there. But then hopefully Shubman Gill recovers because that could be really weird. I don't see Gaikwad at the moment, guys. I just see the all-rounders. Sorry?
I would say Sarfraz. Yeah.
Yeah, Sarfraz. Yeah. I'm not a fan of Sarfraz. I would prefer Jurel playing instead of him. But then what's your thoughts on Sarfraz, Juvi?
I like Sarfraz because there's an attacking element to his game. He's able to tone it down. He's able to build an innings. But if he gets going, he's probably the guy that can counterpunch. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I totally agree with Yuvi because if I'm looking at where Australia as a team and where India as a team at the moment, I think this is Australia's best opportunity to beat India in a test series in a very long time. And it's quite ridiculous to think about it that Australia have not beaten India in the last 10 years. I mean, the might of this team has not beaten India. So that to me is a bit of a surprise. So I think this is their best opportunity because I think this Indian side is very low on confidence at the moment. Now I heard about that thing about Gill being injured in that warm-up game. That could be a big blow as well, Sid, because I mean, if Rohit is out and Gill is out, then you're picking around and looking for opening batters. And I only think the other player that could possibly do that is KL Rahul.
Yeah.
However, KL Rahul's record in Australia recently hasn't been that great, eh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you are going to pick him in the side, you might as well have to play him, if need be. But I agree with Yuvi there when it comes to Sarfraz. I actually like what I see of Sarfraz. I think he's a good counter-attacking batsman. And if you're going to have any chance in Australia of winning any test matches, you got to fight fire with fire. You cannot give this Australian side an inch. Because if Australia smells blood, they're going to go for it. So you've got to fight fire with fire to beat Australia in Australia. So I would play Sarfraz. I would play him. In fact, I would play him in all 5 tests because he brings that excitement to it. Yeah, he brings that excitement to it. I think Jurel, although he's done well in India, I think a bit untested on, in overseas conditions. I think probably the only way you can bring him in is if there's probably an injury to punt or if they want to rotate the squad. But I would pick Sarfraz over Jurel any day.
Oh, yeah, I just forgot. KL can keep also in case Punt gets injured. I forgot about that. That's why I was thinking of Jurel as a backup. But yeah, I guess Sarfraz. But then Sarfraz got a bit of a weakness towards fast bowling because those pitches are going to be quite bouncy.
Well, you could say the same of Jurel.
Okay. Well, you
It
got
can
me
say the
there.
same. Either way, one of them's gonna have to step up. Whoever gets selected has to step up.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You know what the problem is with this Indian squad? You're kind of missing a Pujara along with Rahane's tactical acumen, because you do realize if Rohit Sharma doesn't captain in that first test, we're going to need someone like Rahane who is very tactically astute. Like, I don't know about Bumrah's captaincy potential, because I only saw him in the one test against England and he was all right. So what's your thoughts, man? Do you think India is going to be lacking because of those two things?
Well, let Avish go first. I just want to get my thoughts.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
Avish,
I mean, you made a good point there, Sid. I mean, about an anchor, and Pujara is a massive loss for India, massive loss in the series, because I mean, last time around, I mean, I mean, the bravery that Pujara showed in that series was amazing to see. He took so many blows on the body, and it's about betting time as well. In Australia, it's about betting time. I mean, you don't have too many flamboyant players that are just going to go after the ball. You need an anchor, and I think any team that's won a test series in Australia has always had an anchor, to actually play around them and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, Pujara and Rahane, they've had great tours of Australia in the past. So I honestly think things could be unraveling here for India on this tour, because I mean, an anchor is so vital in Australia against that attack, because that attack keeps coming at you, Sid. Let's be honest. Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, Nathan Lyon, they keep coming at you. You need somebody to resist. And Puji was the perfect foil. A guy that could just bet around, don't care about the strike rate. Just soak up delivery, just soak up the pressure and let the other guys go for it. But let's be honest. Would you think Rishabh Pant would be able to do what he did at the Gabba if it wasn't for Pujara? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think he would have been able to play that, that kind of expressive kind of game. And even in Sydney last time around, when he could have taken India home, if it wasn't for that reckless shot that he played, he could have taken them home. Pujara was the mainstay of that innings. So, I mean, Pujara is absolutely vital. So, predictions time. I mean, if I'm looking at the series, as I did say previously, looking at the venues, I mean, the first test at Perth, I mean, Perth is really going to be tough for the Indians. I mean, that pitch has the most pace and bounce in Australia. I mean, you did see what Haris Rauf managed to achieve in that third ODI against Australia. I mean, he was superb in Perth. I can see Australia winning that first game, in Perth. I think it's going to be a difficult one for India. The second one at Adelaide, I mean, under lights against Hazelwood, Stark. That's going to be tough, And then at the Gabba, I think that could be a bit of a 50-50 game, because you really don't know what to expect at the Gabba these days. Melbourne and Sydney, I think, would definitely suit India. Because I mean, given how they performed previously in Melbourne and Sydney, I would fancy the Indians in those two tests. But I mean, the first three are going to be really, really difficult ones. So, if I were to predict the series, I'd probably go a 5-test series. I mean, India would be more happy if it was a 4-test series. There's more chance of them like getting in and being competitive. But 5 tests is really, really going to be a challenge for them. So I'd go probably 4-1 to Australia or 3-1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could see a draw. You could see a draw somewhere around there as well. Probably at Sydney, because Sydney does have a lot of rainfall in summer.
Okay. So what I was going to say with regards to Pujara, no doubt, integral parts of that side in the past, no doubt. He's been out of this for a while. So as much as I feel they will miss him, I don't think it's realistic to have expected him to be on this tour. Ajinkya Rahane, possibly also similar scenario. The guy I do feel could have been here is Hanuman Vihari. I believe they have. I believe they messed up with that. If we're gonna look for an anchor among the guys that are there, I would say it's Rahul or it's Shubman Gill. It's one of those two. Those are the guys that can bat 10 innings. I don't see anyone else. The rest of them are stroke makers. Maybe Kohli. I guess there's that. Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I just want to add something to that as well. So Yuvi made some good points there, but I do feel in Australia, if you look at the Indian batsmen, the way they perform at home, they're a bit flamboyant. They go after the bowling. You can't do that in Australia.
No.
I'm sorry, you can't do that in Australia, buddy. You've got to respect that new ball. So the likes of Jaiswal, I don't think they can be too flamboyant. I think the coaching staff has to have a word with Jaiswal, because I think Jaiswal has got to tone his aggression down. Because I think it's going to be very important for him to play a vital innings, up the order and take the shine of the new ball as well. Because that Indian middle order is going to be under serious pressure if the openers don't give them good starts. Because we know what happens to the Aussies when they start taking early wickets. They can run through that middle order with ease. So it's going to be very, very important for them to have good starts in Australia if they want to have any chance of actually upsetting Australia. If India win the series, I think this will probably be one of the greatest series wins for them, given what's been happening, given how low the confidence has been, given the amount of players that have been missing this time around since, apart from the last couple of tours. I think this would be a great, great series win for them. However, I just cannot see it happening. At the moment.
But what I would say to that is that we've got to remember one thing. This Australian attack isn't what it once was. This Australian attack is not what it once was. And a lot of the guys that have come in are good, no doubt. But I still don't believe that's the best bowling attack on the park. I've looked at the side selected. I do not believe they have their best bowling attack in that team.
Interesting.
So
you see, sorry, you carry on. So
to me, I still don't see India standing a chance. I think it's like what South Africa did when India came here. India selected a bad side, South Africa selected a worse side. Australia have a few weaknesses. India have selected a side that can succumb to those weaknesses. And it's that simple. Sorry to say it, but I agree with Avish. 4-1, more likely resultant scenario. Prasid Krishna, medium fast. To me, a guy that bowls in the mid 140s is not a fast bowler. I'm sorry. He's not a fast bowler. He's a medium fast bowler. A guy that can top 150 is a fast bowler. And I agree with that. This is where both teams have let themselves down. They haven't selected fast bowlers.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to say one thing. The only thing I could see how India could win it, right, is if you have one match that's completely rained off, and then if they had to lead 2-1 going into Sydney, then they could try and draw that match, because Sydney is probably the flattest pitch. So I could see India probably winning on that basis. And also, Avish, if you remember, India has won at the Wacker once upon a time. I don't know if you remember that, but I think that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I do remember that one, Sid. But I do feel that Indian attack that won at the Wacker was really good. You had the likes of Irfan Pathan and Ishan Sharma. Was that the Monkey Gate series, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You have a good memory. I remember that. Yeah, I remember.
Monkey Gate series. Okay, yeah. No, I remember that series. That was a famous win for India, because historically to beat Australia, the Wacker was unheard of. But look, I think it's going to be a tough series for India. But probably where they do have an opportunity and an opening is probably Australia's batting, because I think that's where their weakness is, the Australian batting. Because if you look at Warner, he's been the GOAT. He's been the GOAT for Australia for so many years, and he's no longer there. He's no longer there. No, he's retired. And then you've got Uzi there, who's 38, probably towards the end of his career now.
Yeah.
There's a new guy coming in McSweeney. That's going to be opening. So I think Bumrah would probably relish his chances against this youngster. And if they can get Australia down early, one down early, I think there probably is an opening, because I think Lubber Shane, they you call him in Australia, but it's Lubber Skakni. I don't think he's been in the best of form recently, eh? I don't think he's been in best of form recently. And then Steve Smith as well. But however, I do feel Steve Smith is still a prize wicket for India in the series, because given the record he's had against India, a home and away, I still think he's the prize wicket for India. So I'd say both batting lineups are looking,
fragile.
I wouldn't say prolific. To me, it seems like the bowling. It seems like the bowling is going to win the series for both teams somehow. I just feel the batting. It's not where it used to be. I mean, especially with both sides, even given current form, because I mean, you're only as good as your last game. Let's be honest. That's how the game is. You're only as good as your last game. So both teams are a bit vulnerable in the batting lineup. And I still think it's going to be Australia, possibly 3-1.
Okay. I honestly can't see this Indian bowling attack winning the series for them. I can't.
Okay, Yuvi, let's go to SA and Sri Lanka. What are your thoughts, man? It's a 2-test series that's going to be on the 27th of November. Do you think SA is going to win 2-0, or do you think it's going to be tied?
I'd love to say 2-0, but I'm thinking a tie.
Okay, and you, Avish?
Quietly confident, because I think there's a few players that have been given a good rest. And if I'm looking at SA, I think the one format that really concerns me at the moment is the T20 format, because it seems like they don't know what they're doing in that format. The kind of players that they're putting, the kind of bowlers that they're picking for these bilateral games. The one format that doesn't give me much worry at the moment is the Test lineup. I think the Test lineup is looking in good nick. I mean, what we saw in Bangladesh, the bowlers were superb. The batters finally got some runs in that second Test. It was a bit touch and go in the Windies, but it was a very important series as well. This gets me a bit frustrated. Why we sent the second string side to New Zealand in February? Because I mean, we could have easily competed.
We had that T20.
I understand why we didn't send a full strength side, but it kind of frustrates me a bit, because I think that side would have done pretty well in New Zealand as well. Definitely. So I think the boys will be really up for it this time, Sid. So I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 to SA, because there's a lot of stake. There is a lot at stake for SA in the series. So I think the guys are really motivated for the series. So I'm going 2-0 here, but it's not going to be clear cut. I don't think it's going to be clinical. I do think the Sri Lankans can cause a bit of problems, but I would go 2-0. I would go 2-0 over both tests. I just think the SA bowling attack would probably have far too much for Sri Lanka.
My concern actually are the venues, because it's Durban and Port Elizabeth, two Asian-type grounds. And if you remember, when Sri Lanka won in SA, it was 2-0 to them. But I know SA will probably, I think their brain switched off in that series. So I don't think they'll switch off this time. So I think they'll win it 2-0 from that basis. Also, I think they'll probably spice up the pitches, make them a bit more grassy. So I think they'll win it on that basis. 2-0 as well.
Yeah, I think after what happened in Newlands last year against India, earlier this year against India and Newlands, and that 55 all out. I don't want to be reminded of that too, because that was a real funeral of a game. I think the coaching staff are looking for good fair pitches, and we're probably going to see that, where there's going to be good run scoring and there's going to be something in it for the bowlers as well. So I think SA at home against Sri Lanka this time around, I'd go 2-0.
Okay, let's go to the last segment. Guys, starting with you, Yuvi, do you think England's going to have a chance against New Zealand? Because I'm going to go with off the cuff New Zealand to win this 2-1 or 3-0. Your thoughts, Yuvi?
I still believe England can do this.
Okay.
I think if New Zealand are smart, their selections are good, they've got every chance of wiping the floor with England. But how often has that ever happened? It doesn't. So New Zealand are as full of shit when it comes to politics in selection as South Africa and India. And so, in all honesty, I'm going with England. Yeah.
By what margin?
How many matches?
3.
2-0.
Okay. 2-0, fair enough. And you, Avish?
Yeah, I honestly feel that the Kiwis have a lot more to play in the series.
Yeah.
Than England. I mean, looking at where England are in the WTC. I mean, I think they're lying in 6th position, so I think there's no chance of them trying to qualify for that final. But I mean, New Zealand are still in it, Sid. Although I do think it's going to be a tough series as well. It's going to be a very evenly matched series. It's not going to be easy against England because I mean we know how England play Test cricket. They are very
exciting to watch.
They are very exciting. They're very flamboyant. They can be erratic at times.
Yeah, frustrating.
I can't see New Zealand winning the series 3-0. Because I always feel there's a performance in England. We saw it in India. We saw it in Pakistan. There's always a performance in this England side. So I'm going to go 2-1 to New Zealand because I think it's very important for them to win the series. If they want to try and qualify for the WTC, and I think they're playing some good cricket as well. So at the moment, in terms of Test cricket, I mean, we saw how they performed in India. Yeah. So,
but that's turning tracks.
Of course.
Yeah. No. Good point. Look, their bowlers are always a handful at home as well, hey?
Yeah.
In those swinging conditions, but I'd go New Zealand 2-1 because I feel England are really, they trying to gear up for the Ashes next year. That's probably their main focus. They're not even bothered about this WTC.
But they want to get themselves on track for the Ashes. They want to iron out those chinks, and the New Zealand series is perfect for that.
Yeah, if you think about it, New Zealand conditions are quite similar to English conditions, so both sides will feel at home. Funny enough.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of swinging.
But then England messed up in that second because I don't know what they were smoking when they didn't bat again. They were forced to follow on. I think they were worried about the weather. That's why they forced to follow on and then they lost the game, which was so stupid. I don't know if you agree with me, Avish, on that one. It's true. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Are you referring to the last series that England played in New Zealand? Yeah. I mean, that was a missed opportunity, and that was, I think, of the early stages of the baseball era. They want to call it that baseball era. So, but England have been a bit inconsistent in Test cricket of recent times. We've seen them win one series, lose one, win one, lose one. So I think they're looking to get that consistency back. So I'm going to go New Zealand 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if England really put up a fight here and win the series well, given what UV is saying, because they need to get back on track as well. They got 2 massive series coming up next year against India and obviously the Ashes.
I was watching 2. Okay, sorry, UV, you wanted to say something?
No, go for it. Mine is totally off this topic, so go for it. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was going to say that I was watching Talk Sport Cricket today. I think it was Darren Gough, Harmy, and I forget that South African guy's name.
Neil Mantop.
Yes. They were talking about that the Indian series and the Australian series will be the determining factor of the baseball era. So if England probably don't do well in those 2 series, I think that selection panel, that coach and captain could be at risk. So I think those 2 series will be in play. So, but I'm hoping India does win that series because India's had opportunity to win in England so many times, and yet they find a way of not winning them. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. I want to check with you, UV. Who do you think is going to make the Test final after all of these series get over?
Before we go there, can I just broach one thing?
Sure.
Say things go the way I've envisioned, and the Sri Lanka series in South Africa goes 1-1. What's South Africa's backup?
What South Africa's what?
Backup. What's their backup plan?
That's a good question.
I think they've got to beat Pakistan. Yeah, they've got to beat Pakistan 2-0, UV. if they draw the series. They're going to beat Pakistan 2-0.
So essentially, to me, they've got to win the Sri Lankan series, otherwise they're out. Because I can't see them beating Pakistan.
At a papre. That is so controversial, man.
Look, we've seen what Pakistan have done in the past year. They've always had a good bowling attack, but it seems like the batsmen have always let them down. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think that Pakistan series is going to be a lot tougher than Sri Lanka, so you can't take them lightly.
But okay, I was just looking at this quickly. Yeah, I just want to try and obviously we'll do our review on that series when it comes closer to this time, because that's only in December 10th. But I just want to show you the venues here quickly before we finally. Okay, hold a second here. Oh, I realized they're actually starting off with the T20s first. Okay, I mean that means the Test cricket will come last, which means we can revisit this later on. Okay, I want to just see this quickly. Oh, yeah, this is only 26th of December. There's plenty of time. But okay, the first one's at Centurion, the second one's at Cape Town, and the third one. Oh, they're only playing 2 tests. I hate to say this to you, Yuvi, but I'm going to heavily disagree with you. These 2 venues suit South Africa to the T, so I'm betting SA is going to beat Pakistan. I mean, the only way, and also Pakistan only beat England because they finally made those pitches turn. I don't know what they were smoking, making roads. Me and Avish were making were like confused. Why were Pakistan producing roads? So I don't know if you agree with me, Avish, on this one.
No, absolutely, man. We've seen roads since 2022 in Pakistan. So they finally came to their senses, you know?
But
they finally came to their senses.
I would still say this Pakistan bowling attack, I expect them to upset South Africa.
By how much? You think it'll be 1-0 or 2-0 to Pakistan?
I would say 2-0 Pakistan. I'd say 2-0 Pakistan.
Oh, that's controversial. That's controversial.
Yeah, Yuvi, when that series comes closer to the time, I will still check up with you on that prediction. Okay, final word before we wrap up, guys. Avish, what's your final word, man? Because I don't know about anything else to talk about. I think
you asked about who's in the final. You asked about who's in the final.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sure, Yuvi.
Let Avish go first. Yeah.
Okay, Avish, you first.
Yeah, I think Australia are going to win the series against India quite comfortably. So, yeah, we were saying 3-1, 4-1 around there. And I think they're going to do enough in Sri Lanka. So I expect them in the final. And then SA, you've got 4 home tests. I mean, as you said, 2 against Sri Lanka, 2 against Pakistan. I expect them to do enough at home.
So you think that's going to be an Australia SA final then?
That's the final, yeah. Bring on the Aussies.
And now, okay, and you, Yuvi, who you think is going to be in the finals?
I'm thinking Australia as well, but I'm thinking Sri Lanka.
Okay, I will
interesting.
I'll hold you to that when we do the.
Okay. Let's have a bet here.
Sure. Okay.
If SA and Australia make the final, UV owes us lunch.
Sure, man.
Sounds good.
But
and vice versa,
if Sri Lanka and Australia make the final, then it's our treat, UV.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but I just don't see Sri Lanka, although I just don't see Sri Lanka doing it because I think SA will have their brains switched on, so I think they'll win that 2-0. I see Sri Lanka beating, I see Australia losing to Sri Lanka, but I just don't see Sri Lanka beating South Africa. But if it is a tie series, I think South Africa will have to get their head examined along with them losing to Pakistan, because my theory is it's his best opportunity. Pardon?
It's happened before.
Yeah, no, but I think this is SA's best opportunity. I don't think they'll ever want to throw it away. Otherwise, in fact, if I have to be brutally honest, guys, I never expected SA to do so well in this Test Championship cycle because I thought with such tiny tests, how are they going to get momentum to play all these Test matches? But they've done really well. And
I honestly think that whitewash in India by New Zealand have really helped SA here. They've probably opened the door for SA because, as you say, your famous quote. I don't know what India was smoking that series.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't say India. I don't know what Agarkar was smoking in that series.
He's a controversial guy. Yeah, he is a controversial guy. I think there's 2 controversial characters in Indian cricket at the moment. One is Agarkar and the other is Gambhir.
Agreed.
Sure.
I agree with that.
The other is Gambhir.
But I have to be brutally honest. I actually was a fan of Gambhir when he was first chosen as coach, because maybe I was thinking of IPL. I thought you'd bring his IPL,
IPL, yeah,
international cricket, but I feel you can't
different
compare.
ball game.
Yeah.
No, I honestly believe Gambhir is still a good coach. I just don't think he's been given the resources to work with.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't believe he's been given the resources to work with. It's like, the English football teams. Something goes wrong, the manager gets sacked. Yet you don't look at the players are absolutely fucking useless. Excuse my language.
It's fine. It's fine, man. You're free to say whatever you
No,
like.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Okay, any final words before we wrap off, Avish and Yuvi?
I like the state of world cricket at the moment. I don't like the state of Indian cricket, but I like the state of world cricket at the moment. And it's interesting because everybody's got a chance. Everybody's got something that they can gain. Everybody's playing probably not to potential, but decently well. So it's good.
And you, Avish?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see more Test cricket, buddy. I just want to see more Test cricket. I think we've been starved of Test cricket for far too long. We've been dished out T20 cricket for breakfast, lunch, and supper in the last 6 months. So we need some Test cricket now. And for us purists, I think that is the game that really, makes our heart beat. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll be seeing a lot of it now. There'll be 5, there'll be 2 and 2, there'll be 9, and I think there'll be another 2, there'll be 11. So hopefully, I think that'll make you very happy. Pardon? Double, okay, let me just check that up quickly. I think that's next year. That's what I know. Let me just double check that for you guys. Okay. World Test Championship final. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, let's check this up quickly. I just want to check this up. Okay. I wonder if they've even given the venue. Okay, sorry about that.
I think it's at Lord's, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just looking at that. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to see. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's going to be at Lord's, but they haven't given the date here, which is a bit bizarre.
That makes sense. Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't had it at Lord's, funny enough, the last 2 times. But I think because of COVID, I think one of them got moved to Southampton, if I could remember. I don't know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, I have a suggestion here, and I hope the ICC is listening to us. I do think a best of 3 is probably a better reflection of the WTC final. I think a one-off test doesn't really, do much justice. I think a best of 3 finals is the way forward. So I think that would be superb. And I also think that the WTC needs to be moved around. It can't only be played in England, man. It's got to be all over the world. Have it in India, have it in Australia, have it in South Africa. You've got to test yourself in different conditions. You just cannot play in one condition. You've got to test yourself. I think this WTC has been orchestrated in a way so that England could actually qualify, but they've been so cuck at it ever since it's come into existence. So think about it. Every single final has been in England. So I think there was a bit of English bias there in a way. When these venues were planned. So then it needs to be spread around the world, sir. It needs to be all over the world. I think these players need to be tested in all kinds of conditions, because that essentially is what Test cricket is all about.
I would love to see. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say you guys are right, and it is an Australia-South Africa final. Yeah. Eden Gardens turning wicket. What happens?
Go on. Hey, y'all are bad. Y'all are bad. No. I think, but I like the romanticism of England and of Australia and South Africa playing at Lord's. Would be lovely.
That is my least favorite venue in India.
I can't see that happening. Pardon?
That is my least favorite venue in India. My favorite venue.
Yeah.
My favorite venue is the Wankhede in Mumbai. That's my favorite venue in India. Is the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Okay. My least favorite venue is Kolkata. Geez, that ball swings all over on that surface.
You mean turns, right? Kolkata doesn't swing; it turns more than swinging in Kolkata.
Well, either way, it's moving around. Not what a batsman wants.
Just ask Bavuma about that.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys, I just found that the finals on the 11th to 15th of June 2025. So we still got a long way to go. I didn't actually realize there's still quite a lot of Test cricket to go. But then most of these Test matches are kind of inconsequential, except the Sri Lanka, Australia, which is toward the end. Pakistan and West Indies is like the problem is Pakistan, right? They'll have to rely on a lot of results to go their way. So that's why I've kind of written them off. New Zealand and England.
No, they won't get to the final. They won't get to the final. But they can cause a lot of upsets. I expect them to cause a lot of upsets.
Do you think they'll be party poopers?
Yep.
Okay, I will hold you to that. And I think that's pretty much a wrap, guys. Thanks so much for giving me your time. And we'll check each other soon.
Cool stuff. That was fun.